Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
Is it? Hi guys.
Technical difficulties.
What? It's on a new link. Then everyone's all on the old link waiting. Dude, you can't do that. Everyone's waiting on live now. Is it? Okay. Yeah. I see us there. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sheesh. Am I? You cancel yourself. Okay.
That's the next evolution of cancel culture, when a thing just cancels its own self.
Okay, let's do this proper. Welcome to Friday Night Live, everybody. My name is Eugene Tay. I'll be your anchor host for today. You can see that our screen has gotten bigger because two of our co-hosts is not here today. Well, for good reasons as well. Kim, who has been very, very hardworking throughout the whole year. And I don't know whether you guys know, but Kim is actually a professional full-time host in Kuching. And he was doing this show with us every Friday because back then, COVID-19, no one's running events. But now that life is back to normal, Kim will be very busy. And this week and next week, he's actually traveling for shows. So he cannot make the Friday Night Live show. Sonia is somewhere right now in Zimbabwe. Far place. Doing some night walk, some Hantu walk, because today is the last of the 7 month. And yeah, so she's doing some walks, bringing some people on tour. So with you tonight,
zebra crossing, right?
Not like Zimbabwean, Zimbabwe. Yeah. So you're gonna get 2 alpha males in the house. And the other guys from down under, the self-proclaimed Apex Predator JDC.
You always introduce me as a freaking WWF star, right? And every session is I just see the lights and yeah. Was it the Ultimate Warrior? That's our time. The Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, that's our time. Yeah. Ultimate Warrior, incredible. Hulk Hogan,
The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like.
But anyway, sorry, you again?
I like the Attitude Era best, the one with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's the after.
The Rock.
After. Yeah. They're all good. But I know, great to be here on a Friday night, and welcome to the whole fam. Thanks for tuning in again. I came on today's session feeling like I've forgotten something. Like when you go to school and you just don't know. You're like, what have I forgotten? Like, did I do homework? No, I've done my homework. Did I forget to bring my maths book in my bag? No, I've got that. I just feel like I've forgotten something, but I've got everything.
That's me going to the airport. Like, okay, did I forget my passport? Yeah, what did I? Wait, hold on. I think I must have forgotten something. Yeah, I get that. It's
all the time. But however, before we continue, I just want to say something. I was out with my friend Steve today, and he shouted me a chocolate horn, and he told me I needed to eat this beautiful, nice bread with a bit of chocolate in the middle. He bought this for me, so he says I have to eat this online.
That looks very dodgy, though.
No, it looks really good. Like, have a look at that. So that's the bread.
Ooh, nice.
It's bread, and it's chocolate right in the middle there. That part looks a little bit dirty, but okay.
Tongue it, baby. Tongue it.
So I just want to say, it's very nice to have something of Steve's in my mouth. So,
nice one. Cheers to that.
So good. What are you drinking?
I cannot get my usual McQuay can today. So I got next cheapest bottle I can find. Hardy's. I don't know. I just took a swig of it. Not as good as my McQuay can.
Well, I've got a new one. It's a new bottle. I think the vintage is 2022, so this year. And it's called H2O. Ooh. It's a really wonderful drink.
Very nice, yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit tasteless. It tastes like water. In fact, I think it's water, but it's just a very good vintage. So have a look.
No, if you actually you take a rock glass, it's like 2 square ice cubes, and just pour it in. It's like sky juice on the rocks. It's like $25 a glass.
That's right. That's
Good shit.
correct.
Yeah, you swirl it around and sniff it first. Anyhow, enough of that, guys. I want to say hello to KK Heng, who was the first on our Facebook side, and we have who's on Frankie that can be arranged is first on our
Frankie,
YouTube side. KK Heng is on both sides actually. Hardcore.
Oh, is he?
Isabel Chen, Chua Elaine, Chi Hao Po, Saravanan is back again. Maitreya Om, the man with the pecs and the eyebrows. Israel Joseph, hello, Supernatural family. Hello, hello.
Yeah.
We have Bidu Junkie, Lincoln Heng, Surin Nair, Ashburn Vala, Vest SA, Quiet Rebel, Pot Me Plun, VN, Ven Bernie, Mark Shippo was actually one of the first, if not wrong.
One of the first, yeah.
YouTube is not streaming. Are we? That's 3 minutes ago. Are we streaming? We are, right?
Yeah, we are. Hold on a second. It's let me just go recheck that again. No, I don't think it's streaming.
Oh, shit. I'm okay. I'm looking at it. It's streaming though.
YouTube. I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm got on now.
Yeah, on
we
YouTube.
are
Herman saying YouTube working. Why never
Nice,
get Team
nice.
O back as guest today? Okay. Good question, guys. Well, Team O, Eugene To and myself, we're all good friends. We go out, have dinner quite often. We're just trying to find that nice, perfect time to have that crossover. Every great band, like Guns N' Roses, they will have that one comeback show. We want to have that. We just haven't found a great time that we can all sit down and have that show. But it will happen one day. One day. We have been talking about that the last time as well.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
ZP Met is in Singapore as well. Thomas Chung, our Thomas Chung is one of our funniest interviewee in recent times. So if you've not heard Thomas Chung's interview, go to our Supernatural Confessions YouTube channel. Go and check out, I think 2 weeks ago, confession. Great stuff about ghost marriage and about love charms. Also this week, I just finished up 2 tours, bro.
With
Hantu Changi. It was amazing. We had one last Saturday, and we had one more yesterday. Both full house, full.
I wanted to come down so much because I love ghost tours, and I've never been to a ghost tour in Singapore. So, I would have given an arm and a leg to have attended.
Well, I know you're coming in Singapore soon, right?
Yes. Soonish. Maybe in a couple of months for like a day or two, and then at the beginning of next year as well. So yeah. So we can tee up and meet up.
So I'm going to run a special tour the day you're in Singapore. I know Kim is going to come back as well. So yeah, and maybe we'll open up some slots for the SC family to come down as well. We'll run it one more time for you guys.
More people better, so that we don't feel so scared.
No lah, cannot lah. Too many people and too crowded. Not fun really lah.
It's not for me because I'm not scared. I'm talking for Kim because Kim might be a bit like doesn't like it.
You'll be there for Kim, right?
Of course. not his girlfriend. Kim will look to me for support. So
Kim will look for you, bro. I need to go toilet, bro.
Yeah. Show him a hammer.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Kim, because Kim's not here, we can talk about him behind his back. It's fine.
Exactly.
He doesn't know. When he goes to a scary place, he gets scared. He wants to shit.
And he looks really serious, like he's worried. No, he just wants to take a dump. Like when someone's just going like that. He's trying to keep it in. It's just the kid's coming out. He's yeah. I'm gonna go behind the tree to look for ghosts. I'll be back.
I got some stories to share with you guys today. We have our 2 confessions, our Know Your Hantu. We also have a featured confessor coming down tonight. Her name is Adora Ang, or she's our featured confessor tonight on YouTube. So stay tuned for that one at 11:30. I also had the opportunity to meet up with some people who shared personal ghost stories with me. One of them is at McDonald's. I'm going to talk about all that.
All places.
Yeah. But before we get to that, you want to do your housekeeping first, bro?
Yeah, definitely. Look, before we even go any further, our Buy Me a Coffee page is still kind of up. So if you'd like to support us financially, please go to buymeacoffee.com /SC Friday Live. There you can give us a donation, and that money will be used towards, organizing events and doing something special. As Eugene said in the previous session, we have not touched that money at all. So, it's not a case where you've kind of given us money and we've gone, I
Buy
saw this
chai
really
latte.
yeah, my
We
chai
can
latte.
visit.
Or there's a beautiful shirt that I just saw there and I'm going to get it. Or I'm going to renew my subscription to Playboy. But that's not happening, all right?
No,
So
no.
that money is just there in the kitty for when we actually are going to use it for something that will benefit the community and the channel as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please go there and support us. But if you're here listening to us, typing in your comments, interacting with us, we get off on that. Not in a weird way, but in an appropriate way. So, yeah, not in a weird way. Yeah.
I mean, I know some people get off to watching our Friday Night Live, but yeah, that's very rare.
I know. You know what? And Kim's not here right now, so he might be in a comment section, lurking, listening to us, and just having a good time. But that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. But in
Yeah.
terms of, I don't know. People have been asking for a joke. Have you got a?
I do.
Have you?
I do.
You,
I have one
oh my
prepared.
God.
I have one prepared.
Oh,
Because I'm a
jeez.
responsible guy that way. Knowing that Kim is not here, I know one of us is going to step up with a joke.
Yes.
But traditionally, all
Sorry.
my jokes need to bomb. So I'll try. Because to celebrate 377A repeal for all our happy friends out there, I got a gay joke for you guys. And hopefully we don't get cancelled after this. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Two gay men walk down the aisle in front of the priest. And they said, Father, we want to get married. The father says, okay. After he do all the vows, do you take so and so to be your lawfully married husband? And do you so and so take so and so to be your lawfully married husband too? And he said, I now pronounce you. He wanted to say man and wife, but he cannot say man and wife because there's a two men in front of him. He said, I now pronounce you men united.
For those who are on Spotify and listening on one of those, channels, via your phone, that wasn't a technical difficulty just then. There was just silence, the silence of the void after Eugene told that joke. God.
I got somebody, Matria Om say good one. I got one fan.
That is so bad.
Oh boy.
I don't know. So what's that? 68, 60, what comes after 69?
70.
No, mouthwash. Thank you very much. I'm here every Friday. I felt that was a better joke, but just leave it out there.
Obviously, we need Kim to come back.
Yeah, we're floundering here.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on with the show. What do we have for us on housekeeping on our Supernatural Confessions group this week?
Look, two posts caught my eye, but before I want to go onto the two separate posts, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing like an increase in confessions and people telling the story. So well done to the community. Thank you. Keep them coming in. And if you feel like your story is kind of like podcast worthy, get in touch with one of us. Flag one of the team members, and after they review it, Kim might put it on the podcast. So again, keep sending your stories, keep sending those videos in. Kind of like be really careful to not send in pictures that are just normal pictures and there's nothing there, and then asking someone if they see something in there. Now I know where people are going with this. They're looking for someone with the sixth sense to tell. But if I see a tree with an uneaten Big Mac at the bottom of that tree and you posted, look, I don't know. You're gonna get reamed by members of the community. And it'll be fun to watch, but we don't want you to go through that emotional experience. Send it with a little bit of context. So if you're gonna send a picture, give it a bit of a backstory. I passed this tree and you know what, I felt really creepy, and the Big Mac suddenly floated in the air and hit me in the head and then fell down. then what do you guys see in this picture? Then we can
Then we can talk about it, right?
a little bit of context, people will go a long
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
But you know what? The most interesting story I've read so far
Ah,
was a story about the cryptid. It's titled "The Cryptid Story" by my late father. Okay, so this one was actually sent in by Maitreya Om. So Maitreya is online right now, and dude, just correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, his late father told a story about something that happened within the Japanese occupation in Malaya, and apparently there was this huge tree, right? And every time the locals pass by, they'll get a rotting smell, a really strong rotting smell, right? It became so bad that the Japanese army investigated it. You know it's really bad when the Japanese goes, okay, you know what? We're gonna go and listen to what the villagers are saying, the people. Apparently, when they dug underneath the tree, they found a gigantic serpent had died stuck beneath it. And apparently, we're not talking about like a small little, python or something. Apparently, this was so huge that the soldiers had to kind of hack the body up to pieces, and the pieces of the snake had to be transported away via truck. Now, again, another twist to the story was that a glowing pearl was found inside the mouth of the snake, and it was given to the Japanese Emperor Hirohito. So
no
again,
way.
look, yeah, I have no idea whether this is a story that became a story and became an urban legend and was passed down through the family. I don't know. However, he also spoke about a Bornean legend, an Iban legend about Nabao, a giant snake that has the body, the circumference of around 100. The circumference of like a drum, like a huge drum, and the body is about 100 feet in length. So that is absolutely crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone has actually heard this story before. This is the first time I've heard it, but that glowing pearl thing, I've heard that somewhere before. I just don't know when. So Maitreya, if you can, let us know if perhaps this is a story that your father actually experienced, or if this was a story that he heard during that time, will be really awesome. Um, okay, here goes. Yeah, Maitreya goes. A few army trucks had actually needed to take this thing away. That's a huge snake.
Usually snakes that size, what my grandpa used to tell me, because he was a kampong guy in Malaysia.
Mhm.
Say the size of the animal will indicate to you whether it's a spirit or an animal. And that goes the same for moth or a giant spider or a giant snake. Usually these are the kind of things that spirits would turn into. And I think in one of your
Yeah.
confessions that you did, we even saw a cat.
Yes.
Yeah. So a giant snake, even the thighs would believe, like the thighs, when they have a giant anaconda type snake, when it shouldn't be there, that's a spirit. That's the
Right.
belief.
Yeah, and again, like you have the Naga from Hindu legend, which gets passed on to parts of Malaya because it was part of the Majapahit kind of empire, which is primarily Hindu before Islam came to the place. Maitreya says that it was a story that he had heard, but there was also another guy who hit the same story from his grandmother. So this seems to be like a legend that has pervaded that area where his father and people have come from. And Maitreya goes Naga pearls.
Mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm, mm.
again, just a very interesting story. Again, the truth of it, who cares, right? It's a great story.
Any pictures, Saravanan is asking.
Oh, good point.
Is there? Is there pictures on the group chat?
No, there isn't any
No.
pictures. In fact, I love stories about huge snakes, right? Can you remember in the 90s the movie
Trying-
Anaconda?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It just reminds me of that, and I used to be fascinated with big snakes, right? And I think one of the most famous photographs, but I think it has been debunked, was the picture of the huge snake in the Congo. This
Yeah.
is this is maybe heading towards the On the Fringe side, which for those guys who are tuning in might not know. We also have a show on Tuesday,
Wednesday.
oh no, Tuesday we have Ghost Mortem
That's right.
for films, and Wednesday we have On the Fringe where they talk about fringy stuff like this.
Yeah.
But the picture is taken from a helicopter, and when you look down to black and white, you see this kind of snaking thing
Mm.
in that the photographer reckons
Mm.
is actually a huge snake, but people have tried to debunk it and saying that's really just the delta that you're actually seeing, and they got nothing to do with the snake. But fascinating,
Mm.
absolutely
Well, now
fascinating.
that I know you like big snakes, when you come down to Singapore, I'll take care of that. And speaking of On the Fringe stuff, if you guys tune into On the Fringe, yeah, I know. You know what I miss about this whole joke moment thing. You know what
What's
made
that?
it? What has always made it funny?
What?
When
Oh yes,
Sonia didn't get the joke.
yeah. Yeah. Like, where are you going to find that snake? That snake is not indigenous to Singapore. In Singapore, you have the thrice carpet reticulated python, which, according to Wikipedia, used to live in the arboreal jungles of the Amazon. Now, in 1970,
And then keep on going. Okay, Sonia. Okay, later
yeah,
after the show, I'll tell you the joke. Okay, I'll explain the
yeah,
joke later. Okay, now
because
moving on.
it's a joke. It's a joke.
It's
Oh
a
my
joke, Sonia. It's a joke.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're just making fun of everyone who's
I
not
know,
here
man.
today.
Everyone who's not here just gets
Yeah.
roasted by us. Yeah, I was talking about the Fringe guys. Um, Yesterday, if you guys watched On the Fringe with Bill and Matt, uh, something happens to Bill's mic, and there's a lot of static for
Yeah.
no reason. Everything was working out fine. Now, I know this because I'm on a group chat with them, and I'm obviously producing the show, so I get to speak to them after the show has ended. Now, what audience do not know is that yesterday in Bill's house, we all felt there was something there with Bill because Matt has a bit of a third eye. So he sensed there's something wrong on Bill's side. The energy was just off, and energy signature was just off. Um, the moderators like Lean and Kara, who's also very sensitive themselves, have been talking about 7 months this year being
Mhm.
extremely volatile. So what was really freaky was after the show, like even for this Friday Night Live, when the show ends at 11:30 and you guys log off and you go and watch the YouTube show, the host, we don't get off straight away. We wind down, we chat, we have a debrief session. When they had a debrief session yesterday, Matt heard sounds of giggling and bell chimes coming from Bill's mic, because you can see the audio spike, right? You can
Right.
from your dashboard, you can see if there's a mic movement, there's the sound, right?
Yeah.
There was sound, and but Bill says, "No, I'm alone at home. There's no one around." And that
Bro.
night in the toilet, a very heavy shelf just toppled, and nothing else had changed. They said there's a heavy shelf, there's
Bro.
things on it, but the weight of the thing should firmly secure the shelf onto the cabinet. It toppled. Everything fell off. There's something in
Mm.
Bill's house. Yeah,
So
you're
this is
saying?
the case where,
Mm.
by itself, you can just say it's, the shelf falling off. It's
Mm.
nothing, the mic stuff, but it all seems to happen in like very close proximity to one another, right?
Yeah.
Interestingly, Caroline says, yeah, I stopped watching after that noise. It wasn't his voice. So maybe some of that actually got translated earlier in the show
Yeah.
to the mic.
Yeah.
Because I think I can also remember there was some funny sounds on the mic in the beginning, right? There was like hissing
Mm.
sounds.
Mm.
Wow,
I'm not sure what.
that's absolutely crazy.
Surin Nair is asking on Facebook,
Mhm.
was there a recording made of the giggling? Unfortunately, when we go off air, we stop recording. So there
Yeah.
is no recording. Mm.
Part of that is so that we don't incriminate ourselves because we just talk shit after the show. Like Eugene has said, like it would be really good to do an episode where we actually record all the stuff that we say, but they're all not safe for work. So I don't want to get my psychologist registration revoked in Western Australia or get cancelled. So I don't think any of that will be coming.
It's such gold. The stuff that you talk about behind the scenes is such gold. I think Elvin, if one day he
Yeah,
just secretly film everything, he's like he doesn't tell all. Elvin has been with me for so long, from the dawn
yeah.
of SC till now. If he doesn't tell all, it'll be very interesting because he has seen so much. He's like the
Alvin, I
chronicler,
think
he just
you're
goes through time and chronicles everything.
Mm. I think you're awesome and a very handsome and talented guy, Alvin. I just want to say that.
Yeah. Speaking of another haunting, my Tampines house.
Huh?
Hmm. I know Grace is saying that it's not a haunting. She tries to debunk it, but I know she feels otherwise because she called me up and she says this happened. If she's not believing in it, she would not call me to say that. So what happened is, what Grace like to do is she likes to take in secondhand items, secondhand couch, secondhand vintage, but very very nice looking stuff. It
Not a
fits.
good idea, bro. Not a good idea.
So one of the stuff that she brought back is a vintage wooden thick cabinet, the type where you don't no nails. It's just is hammered together in style, you know, heavy as hell. Brought it home. She was in the kitchen at night just doing her things. I was not living there anymore, and the oven turned on by itself. And the oven is turned on by itself, not that you could accidentally knock into it. It is a dial. You know the timer. It could go.
And it makes a sound. Yeah.
And then light comes on and the oven just it's like, okay, turns it off, right? Goes back to do her thing in the kitchen, goes wash the plates and everything. 2 times in a row.
What?
Something is trying to show that it's there.
But that's particularly dangerous as well when it mucks around with things that can cause explosions or burnings. That sounds a little bit concerning.
Yeah. So why I said she believes, I think she's at least doubtful, if not that she totally believes in it. She took my EMF device and she went to the cupboard. She did. I'm like, that's not how you use the EMF device. You don't try to detect something just by waving it around like Ghostbusters. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So that's the two things.
And this is recently?
Last week, maybe.
Oh, holy moly!
Last week.
What is it about Tampines? Because Elvin's house was also like reputedly haunted. You talked about, I could, Elvin. I've heard stories about this from Eugene. No such thing. No,
ghosts don't exist.
Yeah, don't get sense. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I got. Yeah, sure.
And then Eugene's house now, and then I hear stories about Old Tampines Road and how it's one of the most haunted roads in Singapore. What the hell is it with Tampines?
I used to think it was me, that I attract all this. But I'm not even in Tampines now, I'm in Pasir Ris. And the common denominator with Elvin's house and the current Tampines house is Grace. So maybe Grace is the Hantu magnet. Think about that.
Or maybe the stuff that she's bringing with her. If she likes to collect secondhand things, it can even be maybe things can get attached that way. Ooh,
yeah.
I'd like to hear.
Yeah, especially when you have vintage furniture, the kind of energy that people believe that when you chop down wood and you turn it into furniture, the spirit of the tree, the energy is still in that furniture. In fact, I think in a 2019 confession from Dawn, one of our confessor, Dawn, she has an old wooden table from Indonesia. Turns out her wooden table is haunted. There's a spirit. And when the spiritual master came down to talk about the cleansing, he said, cannot cleanse, it's in your table. So what you can do is give offering to the table spirit because the spirit was from the tree and the tree got chopped down.
Right. Till today, I have that pantang with me. I cannot buy secondhand furniture. In fact, I don't like buying secondhand stuff. And it's not because I felt the dirty. I just like all the stories that have been drummed in my head from young, from a Peranakan mother, right? No less. And seeing stories about how stuff like that gets transported through furniture. No way, I'm not going to buy nothing at all.
The clock says is asking, what about the nail that Gigi pulled out from the tree in Sembawang? Okay, that happened about a year ago. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of that. He brought it home. He had a series of nightmares, on and on and on. His wife was affected as well. But I think he kept the nail and he didn't bother returning it. So I think his perseverance won over the Hantu. The Hantu gave up.
Jeez.
Yeah, but he was haunted for a while. There were signs, there were recurring nightmares. Now, before we get to the confession proper, I've got one last confession I wanted to share with you guys from someone who actually shared with me. I cannot reveal the person's name because it would affect his job. He is one of the store manager of McDonald's. Are you eating burger, asshole?
No,
on street. Oh, still the same one. Not making me hungry. Okay.
It's fucking delicious.
I'm thinking about McDonald's burger now.
Yeah.
Okay, so McDonald's manager from one of the outlets that I will not be able to share with you the details to protect the identity of the person. He says that in 7 months, they're not open 24 hours, right? This is not outlet that was open 24 hours. They were closed late. They will come back early because they would have to serve for breakfast. So he came in about 4 o'clock, opened the door, and he saw from the CCTV in the room that the door, McDonald's door is not automatic, it's a swing door, right?
Yeah.
Open and close on its own. And he heard movement in the restaurant, like chairs were being dragged, things were moving around, and he saw it from the CCTV. So he called his colleague. He just stayed inside the room. He didn't want to get out. He called his colleague.
Poor
this
thing.
This is happening right now. What can I do? He said, just remain calm, abang. Remain calm. So he stayed there. He didn't get out until the next staff came in and saved him. So they all look at the CCTV. He says he has the footage, but of course we can't show it because the minute we show it, people will know which outlet, and he'll lose his job. Let's not cause people that kind of problem, right? And it is real. So I told him, I tried to make a joke out of it because he was obviously scared. He's like, Eugene, how was such thing? Eugene, how?
It's when someone says, what, how?
The door closed. Really? Hantu? Really? I honestly think he wanted me to go. No, I think it's the wind. I think the string.
String, you should have said string.
Right. So I told him, never mind. 7 months. Hantu hungry. But tomorrow as in today, 7 months no more already. Okay, don't worry. You will not have this problem until next year.
Until next year. The very fact that his colleague goes, abang, relax, don't worry, suggests that this is not an out of the ordinary occurrence in that freaking store, man.
No.
Because someone says, they say, I'll be going to call the police, right? But this one seems to like they know what's happening. Like, don't worry, just relax. I'll come down. Everything's gonna be okay. That's screwed up. Yeah. Have you seen the footage, Eugene?
No. He says he has the footage.
Yeah.
Obviously, when he spoke to me, he wasn't prepared to come down for a confession or anything. He just wanted to gain some consolation, I suppose. But even if I do get the footage, I can't do anything about it. To me, looking at the footage would just to be verifying that he ain't bullshitting me. That's about it. Someone is asking me, get the footage, but don't release it until it's safe to do so. Until when? Until he quits the job?
There's just no way. And I suppose that's the way that we protect people who want to come on the channel and share stuff, right? We sometimes give we let them be confidential in what they want to say to us, right? We don't do stuff that can potentially jeopardize someone's job or relationship and stuff like that. So we would love to see it, but
JDC, when you say that we don't jeopardize people's reputation and identity, it makes me feel kind of guilty and dirty.
Okay.
So yesterday at a walk, there's this guy called Anand, and he is one of our confessor.
Okay.
Except that when he was confessing, I had to blur his face. He's anonymous. So, but yesterday I was like, "Hey everyone, we have our confessor here today, and that is Anand."
And then you're like,
then I realized, oh shit, anonymous. Oh, yeah, just pretend I didn't say that.
His brother Ananda. You gotta think quick on your feet, man. You gotta think quick on your feet.
Vanessa was there. Vanessa was another confessor. Like, that's Vanessa. You remember Vanessa? Forget Anand. That's Vanessa right there.
You can't help it sometimes, right? We do our very best.
I know. I tell you, I'm the worst keeper of secrets, man. I'll be like Donald Trump trying to hide my state secrets on my iPad, living out around a desktop.
And after we'll do the fingerprint, just find out who's been touching those secrets.
What's Alvin laughing behind the scenes?
Alvin just laughs now. I think he's laughing at us, not with us.
Okay. In the words of Kim, although he's not here, he goes, okay, guys, at 10:30, 10:30. To our next confession. Our first confession, whereby it is narrated by Lijia, and this is confessed by Fox with the title Missing Kid at the Beach. Alvin, take it away.
Missing Kid at the Beach by Fox. I don't remember how old I was when I had this experience. All I can remember is that this was my first encounter with a strange or maybe paranormal occurrence. I don't count my brother trying to choke me to death because he was possessed when I was a baby. My parents used to take me to this beach every other Sunday. The beach used to be very nice and sometimes full of families. But ever since they built a market next to the beach, not many or even nobody went to that beach anymore. It was one Sunday morning when I begged my parents to take me to that beach again because it's been a while that I hadn't gone there. My mom didn't want to go, so she asked my dad to take me by himself. So we went to the beach, which was about an hour away from our home. The weather was perfect that day. When we arrived in the area, my dad parked his car at the new market's parking lot, and I hopped off the car happily. I ran straight to the beach and jumped in the water while my dad sat on some stone steps at one end of the beach and watched me. There was nobody else at the beach, only my dad and I. I found that odd because there used to be a lot of people here on Sundays, but that didn't bother me. I was having fun. After a while, I became tired and got out of the water. My dad called me to have lunch together because he brought some packed lunch with him. When I walked out of the water, I saw a woman walking on the rocks at the other end of the beach. I don't remember what she was wearing, only that she was a woman. But when I blinked, she disappeared. I didn't think much of it since I was still a kid. My dad and I had lunch together on the empty steps. When we were done, he went back to the car to fetch me some bottled water while I waited for him on the steps. I was watching the beach when I saw a kid, probably the same age as me, about 6 to 7 years old, walking at the beach towards a concrete platform that was protruding towards the sea. He walked on it all the way to the end. My dad called me to ask me something about the drink, so I turned my head and answered him. When I looked back at the beach, the kid was gone. My dad came back with drinks, and after I finished with my break, I went back to the beach. This time, I jumped into the water next to the concrete where the kid was. I was playing in the water and found some nice shells, so I started collecting them. Some shells were pretty, so I kept them. I found a weird-looking shell. It was long and whitish. I've seen that before. It wasn't pretty, so I threw it back into the sea and kept looking for more shells. This time, I found a really weird-looking shell, so I picked it up from the bottom of the shallow sea and inspected it. It was also whitish. A hump with 5 long, bony tails? Then I realized it was a hand bone, and it was as big as my hand. I screamed and threw it away. I ran out of the water and towards my dad in fear. My dad asked me what happened, and I just cried and told him I found a bone and pointed towards the concrete. He didn't check it out. Instead, he took me back to the car and we went home.
Just so I'm clear, Fox did not mention the name of the beach, did he?
I don't think so.
Not
I
at
don't
all,
think
right?
so. No. Yeah, not something that I would recognize anyway. Because then you got like Changi Beach, you got Pasir Ris,
East Coast,
we have East Coast, yeah, Sembawang.
Sembawang.
Does this sound familiar to anyone? I'm curious.
Yeah. In Singapore. So any of you want to make a guess on this place? My guess is Changi or Sembawang. I don't know where else you would find such discoveries or such spirits. I'm sure there's a lot of beaches out there, like East Coast and Pasir Ris, that have their stories as well. But the most dirtiest beach in Singapore has got to be Changi and Sembawang. Changi because of the Sukching massacre. The Sembawang is because of is a designated spot where people would throw things in Sembawang. A lot of the dispelling and disposal of spirits is done at Sembawang Beach. Changi is because of the Sukching massacre. What you guys may not know is, on record, only 600 urns were found, and it's placed in the epitaph in Singapore. But the number of deaths, undocumented, but apparently the Japanese believe there's up to 25,000 or more bodies lying in the beach. And that part of the beach, the Sukching massacre area, was not reclaimed. So bodies could still be buried there. So it would not come as a surprise that a finger bone or a hand bone floated somewhere out of the sand onto the shore.
Okay, that's it. I'm never swimming in a beach in Singapore ever again. This is not happening.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to make me do it, you can shove it up your ass. I'm not doing it. There's no way I'm going to any. I mean, I'm just hearing all the people are going Pasir Ris, Sembawang, Punggol, like this. Everyone goes to every beach and just buang sway into the river, into the
Yes,
ocean.
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going.
Punggol Beach. That is true as well, because I had an episode two Halloweens ago. We covered a story on Punggol, the massacre sites, the sightings and the haunting. But the
Yeah.
beachfront has been so developed that I think whatever remnants in the sand in that area would have been dug up.
I don't care.
And I think why is Sembawang used as a release site, Sean Chen? Well, Sean, because no one gives a fuck about Sembawang. It's not even on the map. So you throw shit there, that's why. Sembawang.
That was said with a lot of venom in your voice.
Probably,
no way.
She's probably somewhere in Sembawang right now walking.
Or she's got a doll and she's got a pin and she's got your name written on it and she's just doing this right now. She's stabbing it in the eye. But interesting story. I you know what? It seems like you have almost see as you've kind of debunked the story a little bit there, Eugene. You talk about a finger bone going around. Perhaps that is what grabbed this lady's leg, as the finger, the hand floats in the water from one of the urns, touches her leg, and that's what's happened. Well done, sir. Well done.
But remember the story I told you about me?
Yeah.
7 months, the drowning thing. I had a hand thing around as well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very hard for me to think. I know that we always talk about alternative point of view, but it's just so difficult to tune my mind into anything other than what I think would be straight up the hantu. In my rational thought, right? The plastic bag, seaweed. But the bruises on the leg, that's hard to explain away. So with what she sees, and she also see a disappearing boy, where the boy was there and then it disappears. It's, the beach is very open. Singapore beach doesn't have like large boulders for someone to just duck and hide behind.
Yeah.
So, and I already believe that the beach is dirty. So half the battles is there.
Yeah, look, I'm the same as you. I remember going to the beach there when most of the beaches there when I was young, and Mom just telling me, if you see something in the water, in the ground that looks shiny like a shell or something that catches your eye, do not touch it. Do not touch it. Do not touch it. And it again, like that's carried on with me for a while. But it's interesting, people talking about getting grabbed and pulled down in the water. I want to out my freaking cousin. All right. So I went to Bali for his wedding. And if he's listening to this, you deserve this. All right. We're in the pool. Him, myself, and my friend Shankar. We are all three of us are like brothers. So we're just in the pool, just talking shit. And my cousin, we were just telling ghost stories because I like to scare my cousin. My cousin's he gets scared easily. Even though in the army he couldn't be scared because he was like in charge of the whole camp. But he puts on a brave face. Well, I was in the water. We were talking. Suddenly, my cousin, who was in between myself and my friend Shankar, he screamed. He jumped out of the water. He grabbed us and then he pushed us down. He was just like flailing and trying to get out of the water. And me, my friend Shankar was going, "What the hell is this idiot doing? Why is he doing that?" He goes, "Something just grabbed my leg. Something just touched my leg." Do you know what it was? It was, the pump, when a pump puts water out, it creates eddies in the water and it creates a sense of movement. That is what he felt, because when we was like, what's there's nothing there, and then we felt it in our legs. It was just like kind of that undertow underneath the pool that was just caressing our legs. And you know what? To be really honest, it did feel like someone was actually just doing kind of that to our legs. Just you can almost feel the fingers with it. So coming back to the story, look, I have no explanation for how you got those bruises there, right? We talked about it last week. But this story, could it have been that was what he felt? Just that, the water, the streams underneath the water. Look, I can't even speak English tonight, so I don't even know what it's called. What do you call the streams that are
Undercurrent?
Undercurrent. There you go. There's
Yeah.
like a small little undercurrents underneath the water. So
Okay.
that's where I'm going with
I,
that.
I'm going to go with that as well, GDC. Undercurrents. But I'm going to one up you on undercurrents.
Okay.
What are undercurrents made of? The souls of the dead.
Then you can say when I do a fart in the water, that's the souls of the dead coming out as well.
Of the dead cow that you just ate, the 200-gram cow.
I am going to maybe, share some. I'm going to share something that
Okay.
maybe people go, oh, geez, you're kind of rational while you're talking about a story like this. But a story from my grandfather. So he used to be an avid fisherman.
Mhm.
So I'll tell two stories. One was, I could potentially debunk. He went out into this area with a friend of his, and this area off Singapore was not meant to be fished. So a lot of the local people there, you can get a lot of fish there, but don't go there because there's spirit inhabiting that area. And my grandfather said he cast the line into the water, and something hooked, and he fought with it. And he said this is something that was very, very, very strong. And he said it kept pulling at him, and it kept like it almost broke the rod, and eventually it let free. When my grandfather reeled everything up, the huge bait that he had on it was still intact. So he was going like, a lot of weird stuff like that happens. The second story was, again, same grandfather as my mom's dad, went through. I think Singapore at that time had very clear water, so the waters were not as polluted as they are, today, right?
Yeah.
He was going through an area where they were kind of like, it was still quite deep, but you could see right down to the bottom of the water. And my grandfather, he says, right, went through the line, and he reeled it in, and just as it hit the front of the boat, it got snagged. So my grandfather's pulling up going, what did it snag on? So he tried to lean in and look in the water, and guess what he saw?
A head.
He saw a man standing at the bottom of the ocean,
No way.
looking up at him with the hook on his cheek. He was just standing there, just like a human being, not floating, not like mati or dead, right? Just standing there, staring straight at him with a hook on his mouth. My grandfather cut the line and just left. Yeah. So there's a lot of stories associated with beaches there, and that's why I don't go swimming in the ocean.
Hey, you
And
know
plus
what?
Australia, sharks. Nope.
If you guys enjoy this kind of like beachside story, coastal stories, stories of the sea, stories of the land, all this kind of pantang story, right? Really, the next time Walk with Hantu Changi comes up, please do sign up for it, because a lot of this lore and stories are really shared during that walk. And the most important thing is Changi will not be Changi anymore, because Old Changi Hospital is now being renovated and it's going to be gone. The whole of Changi is going to be redeveloped. So it's really the best time to come down for the walk. We got probably a year or two left before it's gone. So
Really,
the next time this comes up again, sign up. It's great. It's great to walk.
is
Okay.
it going to be like hotel or accommodation? The old
No, it's
Changi
going to be an
Hospital?
observatory. It's like a look at the stars thing. But
Very
yeah, good.
romantic.
I know. You
Kim,
look up the
I'm
stars,
looking
you
at
feel
you.
like something sayang you from the back.
Yeah, I said hi sayang, and then you realize you don't have a sayang.
All right, let's go to our next confession. This one is Dark Figure, confession by Rajeshpal and narrated by Marc. Alvin, take it away.
Dark Figure by Rajeshpal. I used to attend a lot of youth programs on St. John's Island in my younger days. I'd always felt the island had a certain charm, and I had many good memories there with friends. But there was one incident that really freaked me out. It was another small youth camp that I attended on the island. There were about 20 of us at the campsite, and we stayed on the island for 3 days. We were the only campers on the island. During one of the nights, my other two friends and I stayed up late chit-chatting around the barbecue pit, admiring the clear skies and stars above us. It must have been around 1 or 2 a.m., and the rest of our friends had already gone us to sleep, but the three of us wanted to stay up. Everything was fine, we were talking as per normal, when suddenly I had this strong feeling of being watched. I noticed my two other friends were also quiet. They had stopped talking, and we all instinctively stared at a particular tree, which was about 50 meters away from us. This tree was on a small hill, but I clearly saw the silhouette of a person standing under the tree and just staring at us. I looked over to my two friends and they saw it too. We stared back. The staring episode must have lasted for about a minute until I could no longer take it, and I told my two friends that perhaps it was better that we go to sleep. The three of us ran quickly to our bunks and knocked the door. The next morning when we woke up, we questioned each other on what we saw a few hours ago, and all three of us acknowledged that we saw someone standing under the tree staring at us. It was strange. We all felt like it was a predator and we were the prey. When we were leaving the island, we asked the island caretaker if other campers had seen anything paranormal during their stay on the island. And he said, yes, all the time. St. John's got a lot of things going around. I never looked at the island the same way again. On the same trip that we did to St. John's Island, probably around 15 years ago, my friends and I were traveling to the jetty near Marina Bay via MRT. We were at Marina Bay MRT and we decided to take a photo of our reflection against the MRT glass doors because it felt artsy. When the picture came out on my phone, I could see the reflection of myself taking the photo, but my two friends were not visible. Instead, there was this small goblin-looking thing beside me in the picture.
What the hell? Alvin, can you
small
pull out the
goblin.
photos then? Oh, wait. Before you pull out photos, what's your take, Jay?
My take on this, first the kind of first encounter. Look, I don't know much about St. John Island, right, in Singapore, but my understanding, it's like an island that anyone could go to, that you can actually stay there and stuff like that. So, aside from something paranormal happening, which I didn't hear, could this just be someone that he's seen, like another island visitor who's there, just kind of just looking at him, even a chikope, just like see what are those guys doing? Oh yes, three boys by themselves. Like how do you know? How do you know, right? Not something that I would do or something that I would say, I would encourage people to do. But there are people out there who do shit like this,
That's
man.
the real ape predator.
Exactly, and that's why I don't want to go to the beach as well. I don't want people just looking at this specimen of a man.
I know. I mean, you have to pay for it at least, right?
Thank you very much. So if anyone wants to go to my OnlyFans account, it is I don't have an OnlyFans account yet.
Yet.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, St. John. A little bit about St. John for anyone's listening in, and it's like, what the fuck is this island about? Because I know there's Australian fans and Malaysian fans who may not know the history of Singapore and St. John. St. John used to be a quarantine site. They put like some diseased people there, and there's a lot of death. There's the chalet with a lot of stories, the checkers board ghost stories as well. Now, the checkers board ghost story, that can be debunked. Many people said that the Japanese actually line up the Chinese on the chessboard, place chess, and if the pieces got eaten, they would be hit.
I've heard that story.
It's a very interesting urban legend, except the chessboard was created after the Japanese occupation. Right? Yeah, so there's a lot of hearsays on St. John Island. But there is stories from St. John Island. We were there. We did our investigation. I know AXL, another paranormal group, along with Young Oliver and Jonathan, our own Jonathan Lim, they took part. They went down and they had some evidence, so to speak, EVP, very monosyllabic evidence from the ghosts of spirits around the area. People who stay there overnight or hike, they do tend to see things. So sightings in that St. John Island, very common. But I think what's interesting is that this particular one, they have photographic evidence. And I think the photographs is what we want to discuss about. Alvin, could you bring up the photographs, please? All right. Okay, so before we tell you what we see, we want you guys to tell us what you see. Alvin, could you make it a bit bigger? So this is actually the reflection from the MRT station, I believe, on the glass door. So the confessor is saying that he left St. John Island. He felt something was not right. He took a picture, a photograph of a reflection, and then he saw something in the reflection, and it's not his friends. Can you guys see it? I think you gotta go up a little bit higher. Yeah. You guys see anything there? Let us know in the comment section what you see. The confessor said saw an imp-like creature. Elaine Chua says Toyo. The childlike figure, KK Heng says, wow, this is obvious. Okay. My goosebumps. Girl in the corner. I see a small headless guy. JDC,
Yeah.
what do you see?
Someone goes, yeah, I think Elaine Choice is Toyo, right? Okay, look, what do I see? When I look at this, all I see is pareidolia running wild. What I think here is that you have someone who's taking a photo of a reflection. Now that in itself is problematic because you're not seeing like a solid image, right? You're seeing something that is quite opaque, and it's also casting a reflection of not only what's behind this guy, the guy himself, right? So we don't know what's behind him. But if I were to say, you know, that round thing that I think people think is a head,
Yeah.
I think that's the chair that's behind.
Chair? I mean,
Yeah,
could you enlarge
like-
this? I want to see the features on that
Yeah.
supposed face.
You know, MRT stations, you have like the little benches and stuff that you sit behind.
Uh-huh.
That could very well be. You know what I'm saying?
I've got a picture right here. I'm gonna open
Yeah,
this
just
on
have
computer.
fancy filterings here. I think.
Filterings.
And-
Oh
and-
my goodness! I just got fucking goosebumps, bro. Okay, guys. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting the same goosebumps as I got JDC from our Bali trip when that
Mhm.
wooden doll turned to look at me and smile. That one. That same kind of goosebump.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, you're right. It could be pareidolia for sure because a smudge on the glass panel. I can make out eyes, face, and a grinning boy and a body and something standing beside him. But when I see this and my body reacted to it in such a way, that tells me from experience this isn't just a smudge because it's it's my physical reaction to something there, like a spider sense, if you may. So I know it's tough to prove because the chill's a chill, but I'm really leaning towards that this thing is something there. There is something there. Not sure what it is. Can't be sure.
I can't see it. And that triangle, white triangle thing that I think people are taking to be a body is, I think it's a plastic bag that someone's holding. Even the confessor could be holding that plastic bag.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, the body of the boy, right? It looks like
Yeah,
a plastic bag.
the alleged body. Yeah.
Mm.
You know, again, like there's nothing clear, and that's what's really problematic in it.
Yeah.
You know, in itself, if you have a very clear image, that itself is also problematic, right? You see, there's no evidence that will show a skeptic that there is a ghost. But with something like this, where everything's blurry, and there's especially when there's reflection, man. When there's a reflection at play, it just adds another layer. You know, I mean, reflections are how movies used to create ghosts. That's how they used to create, you know, phantoms. They something similar to this.
Like a mirror. Since Cynthia Hunbeck says, my husband sees a Toyo too. Cynthia, could you verify that? Is your husband someone with the third eye that can see something? Is that what it is? The Fey Ray says, I really don't see what you guys are seeing, but okay, I'll take Eugene Chills for it. Yeah. Okay, you know, that's why I say it's very difficult. Okay, I think Alvin, you can remove this already. It's very difficult to please the Supernatural Confessions crowd because if it's not clear, something like this, of course, it could be pareidolia, your imagination. If it's extremely clear, it's probably Photoshop. Go score where it got so clear.
Yeah.
If there's actually nothing there and you're trying to guess something, it's like, yeah, put empty pictures, put a circle. How to win? Cannot win lah.
With photos, I don't think you can,
Yeah.
unless there's corroborating evidence to support that photo. I think we live in an age of digital technology, of the internet, of YouTube, where it's so easy for people to create stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that this person's faking, right? Like we take everything at face value.
Yeah.
But for me, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just weird smudges. I don't see anything.
We're going to go with we can neither confirm nor deny that this is the Hantu.
Yes.
Okay. I think now is the time that we should go to our Know Your Hantu. This is done by Kim, and the name of this Hantu sounds like Tulan. It's an Irish Hantu. Tualahan. Tulahan.
Tohan? Tolong?
Dullahan. Dullahan. Oh, Dullahan.
Dullahan.
Okay. Alvin, Tulan, take it away.
We all know about the horseman that can turn himself into a fiery skeleton as he is indwelled by the spirit of vengeance that goes by the name Ghost Rider. Well, this week in Know Your Hantu, we're gonna tell you about a headless horseman from Irish folklore, instead called Dullahan. Dullahan, also called Gantiang, is depicted as a headless rider, riding a black horse while carrying his own head. It has a hideous grin from ear to ear, and writings mention that its eyes are constantly moving and can see across the countryside even during the darkest nights. Dullahan carries a human spine as its whip, and its wagon is filled with funeral objects. Thigh bones of humans are made into spikes of the wheels, and human dried skin as the cover of its wagon. Ancient Irish believed that whenever Dullahan stops riding and calls out the person's name from the house, the victim's soul will be drawn away, dropping dead immediately. Golden objects are said to deter Dullahan away. However, there were never any reasons mentioned. Not only does Dullahan act as a Grim Reaper in this case, but if you are unlucky, they will also be the coach to the afterlife. The Irish folklore is known as Cúschabawa, the silent coach, handled by a horseman with 6 coal-colored horses, all without their heads. It is believed that it will never return to wherever they come from empty-handed. Irish author Derek Landy wrote the novel Skullduggery Pleasant Mortal Coil. Features Dullahan, who drives the Cúchebawers, which is pulled by 4 headless horses and is summoned to collect any human who has heard the wailing of a banshee.
Whoa, that was a Sleepy Hollow stuff right there.
Tolong Tuhan.
Tolong.
Dolahan.
Dullalan. Dolohan.
Dolahan.
Where does Kim really dig up all this lore?
Yeah, I've never. I like to pride myself. I know a lot of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
That people talk about in the paranormal world, like all the different ghosts. Some of the stuff that he comes up with, you're right. I'm going from where did he pull that out from? From which old wizened village chieftain did he get this story from?
If this was if we have like a series for ourselves, right? The Supernatural Confession series, and Kim would be the guy who we'll go down to the place like, okay, these are the signs, and I wonder what we're dealing with. Then Kim will, I believe we are dealing with a Dolohan. He would just
Dola. I don't know the Dola what? Dola who?
Then I think he just like cut scene to know his narration, about the Dolahan and everything. Then it comes back to us.
And then he'll come to Sonia. Actually, this is a Siberian monkey. Now, in 1755, and then, yeah.
Oh,
and then you'll find me like this.
Okay, well, the two of them are not here, but we bring a lot of their. We try to channel them into our show. It just gets so lonely without them sometimes. The dynamics is just so different. But I'm glad I got JDC with me. But also now joining us on the show, we have our featured guest for tonight, and our featured guest, her name is Adora Ang. And if you want to find out more about her confessions, her origin story, check out Supernatural Confessions channel on YouTube at 11:30. It's about 15 or 16 minutes of good shit right there. But today she's going to tell us a story on Bali, because inspired by us, guys.
Oh, that's very nice.
Welcome to the show, Adora.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Dora.
Hello.
Adora, I don't
Wait,
think. How long have you been watching our show, and how long have you been following this channel?
actually, I think I follow quite some time already, and then on and off I watch. To be honest, right, this time when you were texting me, right, I was actually at my shop, cause nothing to do, cause raining, right, so not much customer came in, so I was actually watching the Supernatural Confessions every series. Some also I watched before, I just replay again.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice. Sorry, that's
That's
so
what.
adorable.
Thank you, thank you.
No worries.
No,
Every Friday
just
I'm here every
just nice.
Friday.
Nice, smooth one, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, because just now, just nice. Also, one of the neighbors. I think today is like what the last day of Hungry
Yeah.
Ghost Festival, so they were, giving offerings. So yeah, so I decided to
Okay.
go a little bit spooky for Spooky Friday.
Yeah, but you have a history of seeing ghosts and everything, but you sound very cheerful tonight. So nothing happened?
No, like maybe full moon chill because nothing much to today. A bit chill at shop lah, so not so tired. So
Ah,
a bit more energy class.
ah.
Yeah.
You say a shop. I know what shop you run, but for the benefit of the audience listening in, you want to tell us what shop
Yeah,
you operate?
I'm so curious.
Oh, well, I'm an animal lover, right? So, I don't want to be a vet because I don't want to have, have to see animals die. And then, I mean, not that I don't want to help them. I would love to help them, but it's sometimes quite hard. It's probably hard on yourself, lah. Because my cousin's a vet, so she's always telling me vet stories. I'm like, oh my god, I don't think I can deal with the stress. I think every animal that dies, or if anything was to
Mm.
happen, um, I think I'll be like damn sad for the whole day. Like recently, also she had one client that actually came in to do teeth scaling, and it was a puppy like 4 years old, no puppy lah, 4 years old, right? And while she was doing scaling halfway, right, the dog actually passed away, like on the table. And the
Ah.
worst thing is like the customers, her client, the parents actually saw everything happen. Like nothing happened, just like the dog just kind of passed on the table. If it was me, I tell you, I just cry on the spot. Like I don't know what to do. I think I'll just probably panic.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay.
So and then she said like I think 7 month is also quite a jialat month also lah.
Mm.
And
Mm.
like yeah, this one apparent I don't know. Is it a fun fact or anything? But to me it's fun fact. So 2 weeks ago, actually, one of my first uncle, my mom's brother, my first uncle, actually passed away. So my cousin actually told us when we were sitting down. She said the manager of the funeral parlor or something, the undertaker, sorry, actually told her, said every 10 years, I don't know if it's true or not, but he told her, he said every 10 years, like there's like a phenomenon or something like that every 10 years, um, there will be one big event on during the 7 month, and that during that after every 10 years, right, during that 7 month, right,
Mhm.
a lot of that shit will happen, right? And it's like damn jialat.
Mm.
How do you know about this event? Like, is it like certain arrangement of the planets? Like, is there how do you calculate
I
it?
I don't that I don't know how to calculate it or anything, but because
Okay.
my cousin was sitting down and talking about my uncle, and then she mentioned that one of the undertakers actually told her that every 10 years during that 7 month is like a damn jialat one. And it just so happens that this year is actually
Yeah.
the 10th year. I don't know how to calculate it, but
Whoa.
just so happens that this year is the damn jialat one.
What do you mean by
So just now
chalat?
when you
What do you mean by chalat?
jialat, like um you like maybe probably his terms is like they probably there's more deaths than usual. I
Death.
don't know,
Okay.
but it's like
Right.
jialat. So when she said about that, then I think, oh, it kind of like everything links lah. Like my cousin,
Mm.
this thing happened, and then my
Is there
uncle thing
just bad
happened.
juju, bad things happen, a lot of problems, a lot of death, sickness within every 10-year cycle?
Yeah, kinda. And then my
Mm.
best friend just mentioned that after that last week, my best friend told me, hey, this month like I hear 3 deaths also. Three people from her family also passed away. I was like, wow, damn shit.
Damn
So
chalat.
it's like,
Hmm.
wow.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's what I was
in
thinking,
in
like quite interesting.
in summary, one line. What's the shop that you run?
My shop. My
Hmm.
shop. I have a pet shop, so yeah. I mean, I
Ah,
just it's just a small pet shop, like nothing big. Like, I cannot compare to PLC lah.
Yeah, but
So specialize in selling like small animals. So if you're looking for hamsters, you guys know
ah,
where to find me.
okay. I know someone who
I
likes
haven't I
hamsters.
haven't
I will refer her to you. Mhm.
can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't gone to the rabbit guinea pig side lah. Just hamster for
No.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, slowly.
Frankie's asking, what's your pet peeve?
Oh well.
Okay, but we're not here to listen
Uh,
to Adora's pet peeve. We are here to listen to Adora's confession about Bali. So thank you so much, Adora, for coming online. I know you're excited. You really
Yep,
light
yep.
up the show because
Uh-huh.
on the show right now, two alpha male, very serious, badass
mm,
motherfuckers on the show. But you bring so much sunlight to the next half hour. What did you tell us
Yep, yep.
about your Bali confession? We're all listening.
Okay, so the Bali confession, right? That Bali. Okay, I don't know if y'all might find it scary because you guys probably have like heard or experienced even more scarier ones. But for me, that time was scary because I think I was older enough a little bit to know what was going on. But I've always believed in this kind of things that do happen, but I'm kind of respectful towards it. Although I can't see it. Some of my friends can see, some can feel, but for me, have or don't have, but I do
Mm,
believe that there is, a different
mm,
dimension, but I always like kind of respect their space somehow, like. So the Bali one was actually an impromptu trip. Okay, so it was my brother just decided to say, hey, you want to go Bali today? I'm like, huh? Bali? Oh, yeah, I don't mind. I want to go Bali. He said, okay, go and pack your bags in 2 hours. Okay, like, guys, literally on my
very
Facebook,
quick.
the album, right, for the Bali trip, right, is get your ass ready in 2 hours for Bali. That's the title of the album. So Eugene, that's where I actually went to scroll through the pictures. I sent it. And sent it to you. So I actually did send him a picture of like how it looked like,
mm,
but I guess he'll show you guys maybe. So the Bali trip, so when we went there, it was actually like me, my brother, and a group of his friends. I also call my friends, right? So
Mm,
that villa that I stayed in was actually like a private villa. So I don't know if they open it up to public or anything, but when we went there, obviously the lady boss was there. The husband wasn't there, lah, huh? So we went with a group of friends, and the villa is like, when I say it's like freaking huge. So and it looks like very clean and tidy. Maybe in the picture that time, this one I sent you, right? The picture maybe not so clear,
mm.
last not so high tech lah, not like now,
Yeah.
very, very, very good, right? So when we went there, the land is huge. It was huge. So at that place, they do actually have a separate section whereby they have a villa that looks like a two-story villa, which is a two-story
Mm,
villa. Okay, so that's the one that I stayed in. Okay, and then in the middle, the section would be like a common area whereby everyone would gather together. You can eat. And then there's a swimming pool, and followed by
mm,
the next section would actually be like the guest houses. So I
mm,
guess maybe if they have friends over on a trip, they would
mm,
probably stay in the villa lah.
mm.
So I didn't stay with my brother that night. So I saw the villa, and then my god sister, the exact same girl in the video later y'all watch. She my exact same god sister. I said, hey, I'll stay with you lah tonight. I'll stay with you and your two daughters, because she didn't bring a maid or anything, right? So we
mm,
we we went to the villa. We stayed there. We stayed at the bottom level, right? And then the top the second level was where the lady boss and her girlfriend was staying that night. So we slept, when we went into for some reason I don't know, like we reached there at night, we put down our bag, no, we reached there in the day, we put down our bags, we chilled, we even slept there for a night. For me, right, we slept in that room for a night. The room was like decorated in such a way, like those um like Angmo movies, right? Everything inside the room is like white color, like white shelvings, very, very
mhm,
beach style resort. White
yeah.
shelvings, a white bed with nettings, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
um they were like there was a corner, like kids corner lah. But I mean, because she had a son, so sometimes she would stay there and that kind of thing when they go to Bali for a visit. So but just when we went there, we decided to stay in that particular room. And during that period of time, she didn't even tell us anything. Like, we didn't know, like, oh, it's like quite a oogly boogly place. Nobody know, because
Oogly
I
boogie.
guess nobody wants.
I love it.
I guess no one would want to tell it, hey, you come to my villa, right? Then after that, hey, my this one, you be careful. No one's going to tell you that, right? So just leave it be. So we lived there for that night. Everything went smoothly. It was nice. Okay, so we all had breakfast the next morning, and we went out for breakfast, So we slept right. Then we went out for breakfast, and when we got back, same thing, after you go out from the room, the housekeeper would probably come in and clean your room, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So fortunately, we came back in the afternoon, and when we came back in the afternoon, me, my god sister, and her two daughters, and back then, her two daughters were like, one was like still a baby, the other one was like a toddler. Her first child was a toddler then. When we went into the room, it was quiet. It's like strangely, awfully awkward. It's just quiet. It's like so peaceful inside. But that kind of peaceful is like something a bit off, but yet not, kind of thing. But we were also preparing to go out for dinner, you see, that night. And then that day, and then after that, when we went into the room, when we approached the bed, so, housekeepers, they normally would do the bed really nicely. When we first stepped into the room the first day, the bed was very nice, like they flattened out the linens, everything. It was all beautiful place. But when I got back then, we were preparing to shower, but wait, let me remember first. So we went in order to go to the bathroom, we had to pass by the bed. So when we passed by the bed, I was like, I didn't see anything, Obviously, my god sister went to shower. I didn't see anything, but the bed was nicely packed. But one part of the bed was how to say like you go to your hotel room, you're going to go out within 10-15 minutes, but you just want to sit on the bed and rest. So you just like lift up that part of the bed, right? And that part of half the bed was messy. So I was like, I'm trying not to think so much. Maybe the maid never cleaned properly or whatever. But I keep thinking that day, I said, but we left the room damn messy. Like the bed is super messy. Like the bed sheets are everywhere. This cannot be. But I just kept quiet. So I wanted to go and take a shower. Then I placed the first daughter, the toddler, on the bed because mom, my god sister, was about to finish a shower. When I placed her there, and I went to the toilet, she was silent for a while, and with less than 5 minutes, she just screamed her ass out. She just screamed, and I was like, this cannot be. Because the first day we went there, everything was all fine, And she just screamed on the bed. And then when I came out, I said, what's wrong with you, you kid? So I carried her up. I hugged her for a bit, waiting for the mom to get out. And then she stopped crying. The moment I carried her, picked her up, she stopped crying. I think babies have like this sense of, how to say, they have the sense, like their sixth sense is pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to think so much of the time. And then I put her down again after she settled, and I went to the toilet. Within less than 5 minutes again, she screamed. I was like, oh my goodness, what's wrong with this child, I was like, what's going on? My god sister came back out after she was done, and then she picked up the baby, and when I was done, she said, I think she didn't want to tell me anything, but she just said, let's faster get changed and let's go to your brother's room or meet them. We got to meet them.
She came out from the toilet, is it?
She came out from the toilet after that, and then she carried her baby, everything.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, come on, let's hurry up. I don't know, we were running late or what, So I said, okay, yeah, faster. And so after I was done, like she picked everything up like in a hurry, I was like, what's going on? So we faster go already. So we went to meet my brother and whatnot, and then we were talking rubbish and whatnot. And then soon after, the lady boss came down from the second story, and then she's like, hey, how are you guys today? And then we were all like, yeah, we're good. And obviously we just kept quiet, And then after that, I didn't see anything in the room, okay. So after that, one of the lady boss friend, the girlfriend that stayed with her, she came down rushing. She's like, hey, guys, just now in the afternoon, like before I meet you guys, after we came back, I went to shower, right? And you're like, yeah, we also showered, And she's like, yeah, I was showering. And then halfway through when I was showering, my earring dropped. She mentioned it. She said her earring dropped, and her earring, right, is unbelievably big, those very very huge I don't know what carat it is, but it's huge. And she's like, and she was so worried. Her face was so worried. I said, Then my god sister said, the earring dropped, then how you got find or not? She's like, I didn't manage to find it. And you know what, guys? The funny thing about the earring is that it dropped while I was showering, and there is no way the freaking earring could get dropped already and get lost in the shower. Then I remember my god sister, they asked, then the shower part, maybe the hole there a bit big, right? They were talking in Indonesian, but I couldn't understand, right? And then she said, no, it's the hole, that the filter hole is small, and there's no way the earring can go missing after it dropped. The moment I felt it drop on the floor, like it dislodged itself, I went finding for it, but I couldn't find it. She was
It
so
could
worried, right?
actually
Because
be
that was,
is Indonesia and Bali. It could actually be a toyo coming around to steal things. You reckon?
I don't know, but we'll get to that after.
Okay.
So after that, she said, I don't know, but I'm so worried because my husband gave it to me, and I don't intend to tell him I lost it if I can't find it, So she went, then after we're done, right, she went back up again, tried to find it, and she came back down. She said, "Oh guys, I really cannot find it at all. Like, no, it's nowhere to be seen at all." So I mean, it remains a question mark. Like, how come the thing dropped already, right? And then suddenly it just disappeared on the floor, But I also do believe sometimes they do tend to, like, those things, right? They do tend to play around with you. So when you drop something, thing could be there. The item could be still there, but it's just probably they blind you to fake you that, it's no longer here. Things. So you tell me, oh my god, I got goosebumps. But yeah, so she's like, she couldn't find it. So anyway, that night, me and my god sister, after dinner, we came back home. We came back to the villa. We grabbed whatever we can grab. We shifted out for the whole journey. I think we stayed there for like a week. The whole journey, we just bunked in with my brother. We don't dare to stay there. We were just so freaked out. Only on the last day before we went back to Singapore, then we stepped back into the room. If there's nothing needed, we never stepped back into the room. It was so scary. But then after that, when after almost towards the end, actually my god sister's friend, the lady boss, actually said, so actually, there's known to be a little bit of a supernatural in this area, especially where we lived. We were like, oh my god. And because the villa, right? Her villa is actually next to a beach. Apparently, I can't remember which part of Bali we stayed in, okay, so I can't disclose anything, right? So apparently the villa is next to a beach, and long time ago, that beach was actually used as like it was like a massacre for something. People were being killed over there for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know which beach
Kind of freaky.
specifically? No.
No, it's nothing like the very famous beaches. It's nothing like that. It's like very far end, in Bali one. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't want to ask. Yeah.
It's interesting that you've had all these stories in Bali, because when we went there, there's a lot of folklore and a lot of stories from the locals themselves. So it's not surprising, and the Balinese work on the concept that every dwelling, every villa has a spirit, and rather than chase the spirits away, all they do is that they make the spirits feel welcome, and they let the spirits know what the hierarchy is going to be like, i.e. that if they're there, they are of the lower hierarchy, and they're not of the higher hierarchy, so
so I think
can't remember, I can't remember, something got to do with like the name Bali or something like that. It was like the island of the demons or something like this. I something along those lines. I can't remember. And then every time when they do the offerings, they will always say it's all for the god or whatever, right? But some of them actually say, the offerings are actually not. It's actually meant for like the demons on the island, something like this.
Actually, you are right. You are right on that. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So when I spoke to some of the Balians there, not Balians, the Balanis, Balanis there, right? They do. We see a lot of this prayer and offerings to ghosts, demons, and all the oogly boogly stuff.
Oogly boogly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the
the people
oogie
from
boogie.
Bali, what they believe is when they give offerings to the negative entity, it is the understanding that, look, I'm giving you the offering, don't bother me, don't touch me. Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
thing like what we do with 7 month when we give offering and say, okay, you don't disturb me this month. That's kind of how they do it as well. Except the entire fabric, the culture of Bali is steeped in folklore and superstitions, and it's very much a part of their lifestyle already. So
Yeah.
the story that you told us, I think what if I would be able to sort of give us all the cliff notes version of that is, it's a place that weird things have happened that's very hard to explain and pinpoint that it's about the Hantu. But some of the major things that happen is earrings go missing right in front of their eyes. It cannot be explained. So it's almost, I think, like a ghost cover their eyes, or there is some ghost there that steals things. Is that something that you believe in
Yeah.
as well? Mm,
Yeah, I do. I actually do believe in this. But I
yeah.
didn't want to that much, back then.
Yeah.
Besides
But
the
anyway,
messy bit.
yeah. Check out Adora's confession tonight, 11:30. We have Adora's used to live in a condo somewhere near Shangri-La, in a very upscale side of Singapore. And in that old condo, there were three incidences that she remembered very, very clearly till today. That's very hard to debunk. Uh, and if that, I mean, obviously we say, oh, Adora is very young at that point in time. She probably can't remember her, memories are all made up. Check out the one that I personally love. Is about her in Shartek time as a teenager playing the Spirit of the Pen. Spirit of the Pen, for those of you who do not know, I don't know JDC if you know that, is the what I call the budget Ouija board. You don't get the Ouija board with the planchette. You actually draw on a piece of paper, use a pen, and hold a pen and call the spirit to move the pen. The budget Ouija board.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's the $5 shop one.
Yeah, the $5 shop version. I felt that one was scary, and the one that she told after that about home in Australia, because that's where her brother lived in Australia.
Yeah.
She would stay there 1 month, 2 months with her mom and everything else, and she encountered something one night. Her dog was whimpering as well. She didn't tell anyone, but it turns out everyone in the family had certain encounters there in that house.
Wow.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that one. It's coming up 11:30. Now it's 11:27. Adora, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Adora.
And for the confession.
Thank you.
Well,
Welcome.
anybody who wants to go to your pet shop, let us know. We'll hook you up with Adora.
Adora. Yeah.
Okay.
See you, Adora. Thank you so much for tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Alrighty. JDC is back to us again.
Yeah, reminds me of just all the Balinese stories. It's I think you could spend your entire life in Bali and not collect all the wonderful stories about the place. It's
I want to go back to Bali
love
again.
it. Yeah,
I feel like I didn't get to enjoy Bali enough. There's
Yeah.
so much of it that I missed out.
How's
the video coming up, bro?
The bill is coming good. So we've had a lot of things happen, and obviously I had COVID, and I'm 100% now. So this week and next week I will be in the process of just going through it in a really crazy way. I am just gonna shove all my creative juices in there. So I'm no longer working nights as well, so which is a good thing, which I can dedicate some time to family and doing the video. But I know a lot of the fans are asking, what's the Bali stuff? It's coming, guys. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that this production is, not one of those. Yeah, it's going to be a good production, and we want to make sure that we tell a really good story with this. We just ask that you guys be a little bit patient with us. I
can help to edit if you need, or you just pass it to me and I can do co-production with you if you need.
Definitely, man, definitely. I probably need some help with sound, but that's awesome.
No problem. Okay, because ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our season. Every season we start at the start of the year and we end off last week of October, and then we take all the hosts go on break. We take two months off. We'll still have some shows in between here and there. Confessions will still go on, but we need to give our hosts a break. Like JDC has been probably the only one who has not taken a break.
No, I haven't. I think I've been here every Friday since I said I was going to come here every Friday.
Yeah. So we need to give everyone a break, have some nice family time, celebrate the end of the year, and also when the boys are coming down to Singapore, and they will be, I guess. we will want to run maybe a gathering or an event where we
Let's do it.
would love to meet you guys in person. So stay tuned for that. That will be in November. Also, we have something special coming end of October. We will
Yes.
release this information soon, but I want you guys to hear it here first.
Yeah.
Supernatural Confessions have been invited by the Sarawak government for culture and tourism, because that's where Kim is. That's our homeboy in his home ground. And Supernatural Confessions has been invited to go down to Sarawak to run our finale show in front of live audience. And
Woo!
we have 20 spots because the place can only hold 40. I requested not for an auditorium. I didn't want that. I wanted a very nice, cozy environment,
intimate environment. Yeah.
So 20 packs from Singapore, 20 packs from Kuching, 40 tickets total. If you're interested, let us know. We'll have the official news coming up. But you will fly in on Friday, watch the live show on Friday night. Saturday, there'll be a tour where we bring you to some of the haunted places with urban legends and culture around Kuching, and also to meet, I think there'll be like cultural village.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
Sunday there'll be another tour to a haunted place, and then you guys fly off. 3 days, right? Hotel, food, all kind of settled. The price point is very, very low. Again, Supernatural Confessions is not monetizing on this one. We are working with an agency and allowing them to coordinate everything, just to make it really easy for you guys to be there. 20 spots only. If you want your own
Yep.
hotel room, personal, then you will pay a little bit more. Otherwise, it's twin sharing.
And you know what? You get to hear Kim's jokes in person. In person. That's right.
Yeah. All expense paid. No, I'm sorry, guys. You guys have to pay for your own expense. But as I said, it's almost like $0 above whatever the agency is charging. We're not taking money off you. We're just
Yeah.
helping you. Already, the agency is going to coordinate all this, and you pay the agency, and that's it. We do charge a ticket. Because there is rental to be paid for running it there. There's the ticket for the Friday night live show, but that's all we are taking from you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
It's really for the fans, and we're just proud to be part of this event. And we would love for you to join us. 20 packs, see all of us in the flesh.
Definitely.
Mm.
We'll be wearing clothes though, not the whole flesh. Just
Yeah. But
just
if
the flesh.
for $250 a pop for each of us, there's after party where we can. No?
My wife just out there. You want me to die?
Alrighty. Okay, let's say goodnight. We just go on to youtube.com/supernatural confessions, where we have Adora's rest of her confession today. And trust me, that one is really good stuff. I edited it myself. So very, very tight.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I just want to say, thank you again to everyone for joining us. Love being here. That's why we do this, because we love it. There's no other reason why we're doing this. And also thank you for the anonymous, people who have given us money for the buy me a coffee. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, wonderful. Love the stories tonight. But you know what? I've heard?
What?
I've heard that there are always more questions than there are answers.
I see.
Oh.
I've heard this one where there in the middle of the people he stands, seeing, feeling, with just a wave of a strong right hand, and he's gone. So if you have ever seen something like this before and you doubt yourself, know that you are not alone. Good night, everybody.
Good
We'll
night,
see you
guys.
guys next week. Good night.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.